Thanks for tuning in to Wine at 9. This is your intimate, thought-provoking wine night discussion. We are your hosts. We have KG over here to your left. In the center, we have Jen Joy, recovering from pink eye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's me, Jerry Joseph.
What's up, y'all? In terms of our wines for tonight, I'm gonna run them down for you. Got a Dark Horse Pinot Grigio. That's a California Pinot Grigio. We've got the Palm. Oh, yeah, from France.
French wine.
Yeah. Man, Witching Hour. Where is? Oh, also a California red blend.
It's a red blend. Yeah.
Awesome. Heck yeah.
Brought to us by Screech and Stephanie.
Screech and Steph.
Thanks for the recommendation.
As far as our toast for today, we are toasting to some random cool guy. Here we go, guys. To being different. Well, to being different, that's what makes the world go round. Awesome. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Some random cool guy.
Is it on me? To being different. That's what makes the world go round.
To being different.
Being different.
Here.
Our differences.
Oh, this is good. I
You
like
like
it.
it?
Like
Yeah. There's a lot of flavor in this one. A lot.
I like mine too. Mine's really rich. Very crisp. Very smooth for a rosé.
Not bad, not great.
I don't like the Dark Horse brand. There's not much from them that I like.
Exactly. It's an $8 bottle. It's, I can't complain, but
I think this one's about 15. But this is but look at the bottle. So I do just want to emphasize how cute it is. Just very summery, perfect for the season. It's June, so yeah.
not too much citrusy. I could taste the apple notes. I would definitely use a little bit more pop, but
What
it's
would you?
smooth. It's smooth. I give it about a 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think that's the
2 out
lowest.
of what?
5.
Oh.
I think that's the lowest rating.
We
he's
never
had.
officially, so I try to do it on the 0 to 5 rating system. That's my thing. So
So this is your least favorite you've had on the show?
they're my,
I think so. I think everything you give at least a 3.
at least a 3. Yeah. it is. Yeah.
Wow. Mine is really, I like it. It's like a poolside wine, like on just a weekend when you're sitting by the pool in the backyard with your family. You just want to have a couple drinks, you're not going to party too hard. You're just going to chill and go home, take a shower, read, go to bed. But I like it. It's very daytime, like noonish.
Yeah, this is an evening night, maybe midnight kind of wine for me. This one it's very bold. It has a lot of like smooth flavor to it. Mm-hmm. Rich. It's also rich. I would say that rich, smooth, got a nice bite to it. Really nice.
Yeah.
I like red blends
I can't
a
wait
lot.
till we switch. I mean, it has like the flavor more so of like a Pinot Noir kind of thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
But like a real good strong bite from like maybe a Cabernet. I could see myself. This is some good introspective wine. This is wine you drink when you got some shit on your mind and there's a thunderstorm outside and you're sitting by the window alone, not saying anything to anyone. You're just thinking.
He loves thunderstorms, by the way.
How did I get here?
Meditate on that witching. Yeah.
Ooh, what is life about?
Facts.
Yeah.
I don't think that my wine would pair nicely with any food. So I think that this is more of a wine where I just see myself sitting somewhere, like I said, poolside, So yeah,
It's a
isn't.
kickback wine. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't one that I would pair much with food. This is like, I've already eaten some pasta and now I'm chilling.
This is a good breakup wine.
Okay.
Yeah. You're broken up, you're crying, you're just looking out the window during a thunderstorm.
Watching the rain fall like your tears.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Jen, let's talk about our subject tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about polygamy, which is really interesting and is really relevant to what we believe is popular in today's times. With church in decline, we see more people who are used to growing up in and being around monogamous relationships, kind of coming to a point to where they're considering or have already tried polygamous relationships. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what polygamy is, what we think about it, and where we see our culture and our communities coming forth with polygamous relationships. So with that being said, we can start off with a few statistics that we found. Only about 2% of the world actually practice polygamy. We see that very popular, or it is very popular in Islamic communities, very popular in like West Africa, a little bit in Northern Africa. We see it only in the Western world with the Mormons.
Yeah, they practice a lot. I can see hippies too, Mormons and hippies.
Yeah, I'm sure. So
Why so not popular, man? At least currently.
I think a lot of it has to do with religion and tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it all up.
Yeah.
Religion and I got you.
But like I said, with church in decline, and within the world, I think the entire world is leaning more towards practicing new things. So polygamy is kind of one thing to where people all over the world are kind of trying to see how they like it.
That's wow.
But it's not always recognized, or it's not always legal, is what I should say.
Well, neither was gay marriage or interracial marriage at one point.
In a lot of the world, yeah, exactly. You're right. So polygamy is kind of a new thing. So what do you guys think about it?
Could you ever be in a polygamous relationship?
He could.
I was like, why y'all even looking at me? You already know, right? I mean, yeah, I could. I think that I would imagine that a polygamous relationship would be very difficult. And that goes without saying. I've never been in a polygamous relationship, but I imagine it would be very difficult. Then again, I mean, monogamous relationships are very difficult, and most of those fail too. So I could see myself at least giving it a shot. I think that the way that we date now is, I don't think it's very efficient. Yeah, it's not efficient. I'm all about efficiency. So I don't know, if you could date multiple people at once, it might help you really tune in on exactly who you are, what you're looking for from a relationship, and how to go about it, stuff like that. So
that makes sense. Well, I gotta ask, which one do you think you have an affinity move for naturally? For me, I'm supposed to be monogamous. My spirit kind of leans more, and that's a good thing and bad thing. So it's almost like, so I know me personally, I'm a very possessive individual, but I'm also fueled by the trust that comes with being in a monogamous type of relationship. It's like I'm not, the best parts of me come out when I'm backed by somebody that also is giving me that same type of
loyalty.
Energy. There you go. Yeah. So that's me. But what about?
And what did you say earlier? You said, and she doesn't even need friends like that, because what do you need friends for?
I don't. No, and I'm all right. So here's the thing. While in a relationship, I don't believe. It's not even a belief thing. I'd have a hard time with accepting the fact that my chick will have multiple guy friends, even platonic. They don't serve a role in what I deem to be the ideal relationship for me and obviously her if she's trying to be with me. I just wouldn't be about it.
Unless you were friends with them too.
I'm sorry?
Unless you were friends with the guy too.
Yeah.
That's how me
but
and
you know
Kaylin
what?
became friends.
No. The irony in that. But I learned a lot through that.
Yeah.
And actually, to be honest, that's what I'm saying. So I can, in retrospect, it's almost like, I don't, no regrets. You're my brother, but it's almost like I wouldn't do that again. It's like, I don't, not that, okay, that doesn't even make sense. It's like, because I met her through you. But what I'm saying is, if I get with a girl, I wouldn't be comfortable with her inviting other, like, new male friends into the relationship. It serves no purpose at all,
So you would never, ever survive in a polyandrous relationship, which is...
Heck no. No.
Would you?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of open to all sorts of polygamous relationships? Because there's multiple kinds.
Yeah. Well, with my ex, she was an escort, or I guess technically, more technical, a prostitute, and she slept with multiple dudes all the time, and then she would come home, and there was no jealousy, and she was also open and honest about it. So it's not like she was hiding anything. It's not like there was any lies. So I've been in a relationship in which I guess I have been sort of. I guess if you want to consider that, I don't really think about it that way. But I was in a relationship in which my girlfriend slept with other dudes. She looked at it as more like it's a job. I'm only doing it, for money, which is true. But I mean, if you're looking at it in your traditional relationship kind of sense, you're still having sexual relationships with other people.
But I don't think that as a woman who is working as a prostitute, I don't think that they see it like that.
Yeah.
So I think that polygamy is also a mentality thing.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
It always comes back to it's a dangerous game when you, in my experience, a lot of people won't admit this, but when you separate the intimacy from sex, it leads you down all types of I personally can't. Some people can.
Yeah.
But in my experience, that's not. I know a lot of people that believe that it can, and it always comes back to bite them because there's something about there's a reason why most people get upset when you sexually cheat. That's not because they just they have this ideal that it's not. There's something you're sharing something with somebody majority of the time when you have sex. There's something intimate about the act.
Well, with cheating, you said cheating particularly, and I think that's more so like you're sharing the intimacy of trust and honesty.
Exactly.
And when you break that trust, that's really difficult to deal with. But I mean, if you both agree, it's just sex, then I think that you could have sex with someone else, and then it wouldn't hurt them the same way as, say, lying or breaking the trust would.
Yeah.
But why do we attach our trust to sexual acts? It's like, why do we make it more than even what it is to begin with? Like, you won't say, you personally, you're a little bit, you can separate it, but most people can't. It's like, you're not, the normal relationship, any form of it that you can discuss, sex is still a big thing. Even like, you can't get around that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But we've also been at a point where most of us have been at a point in which you can absolutely have sex with other people and have no emotions. Ask any.
Not and enjoy it. For a woman, I feel like for a woman it's different.
That might be true.
Yeah, for me it's like if I don't even want to have sex with you if I don't feel feelings for you, and like we talked about in one of our recent episodes, demisexuals.
Yeah.
So I would consider myself that because I really fall in love with people personally than I do with like their physical being or their looks or anything. So I fall in love with people based on who they are, and so I do attach myself very firmly with those people. But although I am very I would say, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like to share. But so I have been like that for a while, right? Where I've been in a relationship with someone, or not even in a relationship, just in a partnership type deal where we don't really claim each other, but we are spending all the time together. People around us are seeing us together, so people are used to us being considered an item, and we are having very intimate sex and that. But I have recently thought about polygamous relationships, whereas would I rather be cheated on, where we talked about how that's one where you're going out and having intimate relationships with other people and your partner doesn't know about it, or know about it and be involved in it. I mean, one thing about polygamous relationships too is like, because there's so many different types, you can have triads, and I don't, and I'll say this to the viewers because I know that people in the LGBTQ community take their sexuality very seriously, so I would never want to offend anyone by saying that I am bisexual, because I've never dated a girl. I have had sex with women, and I do it's weird to say. I will say this too. Only in Miami am I like. I know. Isn't it weird? It's like I'm purely lesbian.
Are you like geosexual as well?
I think so. I think that's a good way.
Is that a term? Is that on? Did you just?
I literally just made it up.
We're gonna make it up. We're gonna call Webster's Dictionary, but I think I am. So in Miami, I don't know what it is. It's also funny too. Like you guys see the memes where they're like, "Oh, don't let your girl go to Miami." It's like, don't worry about me because I'm only there for the women. But I have thought about. Because I do enjoy girls, and for a polygamous relationship to work with triads and for heterosexual people, one person in the relationship would have to be bisexual, right?
No.
Well, I'm in a triad with a group relationship. One person would have to be bisexual.
Yeah. Okay.
And oftentimes with men, it's probably going to be the female that's going to be the bisexual in the relationship. So I think that polygamous relationships actually work better with gay couples because they don't have to practice the bisexuality.
Yeah, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Like 3 women or 3 men.
Yeah.
Or more. Yeah, that makes sense.
I hear you. I hear you. But technically, that's why I say I like to distinguish between polygamy. I don't perceive that as something that's based in there's no utility in that for the family unit for me. So it's like, I guess I'm sorry, not polyamory. And I think that's more so what you're actually talking about. Because polygamy is like, you know what? I'm marrying multiple women for the utility of my kingdom. Like I've actually been, y'all familiar with the harem system?
No.
I'm all about it. It's like as a man, you have your main wife, then you have your concubines around that. So what happens is what that gives you is stability in terms of like the spiritual component. All right, so I have somebody I do have that one-on-one relationship with.
You're like your primary. Yeah.
Your primary. But then you have your chicks on the side.
So you're okay with having a primary woman and then side chicks?
If I'm being honest about it, I'm okay with it, but it's more reactionary because one thing about me, I'm monogamous by nature, but dealing with modern day, quote unquote, liberal women, I had to adjust because women have more power, at least in America and Western society, than they ever have.
Yeah.
So they don't perceive relationships, marriages, any of it, the same anymore. So I'm like, I've adjusted. I'm like, you know what?
It's got to be open-minded.
It's very different for men and women.
It is.
In a relationship, in a heterosexual relationship, that shit is not fair. It's not equal.
I think what bothers me though, most people won't admit or acknowledge that. It is the truth though.
I think all 3 of us can agree on that.
Yeah, but I can't tell you how many women I've heard say things like, I've asked them, hey, if that was your dream guy and a future you came through a portal and was like, yo, that is the guy for you, placed on planet Earth by God for you. All you have to do, because he didn't notice you over there, just go talk to him. And they're like, nah, I ain't talking to him. He better come talk to me. I'm like, women think that, or they'll like, I would never propose to a guy. Ugh, me get down on one knee and give a man a ring? I would never, but I want you to do it, and you better do it by the time I tell you, I'm ready for it.
It's an ego thing.
It is.
It's marriage is women's. That's where their ego comes out to play. So
that's what it's become, man. That is what it's become. That's why I say I am all down for the institution of marriage and what it represents. But we've warped that. Now it's more commercial than anything. Women are just smart. Women are smart, and they're milking the system. It is what it is, and it's putting a lot of men.
The system.
I'm serious. I was talking just last night. It was actually a good buddy of mine. We were at the bar, and he was telling me he was married for 4 years, and he was like what, 22, 23. He was young, 24. It was something really young. And I was like, I have been in relationships. I've had quite a few long-term relationships. And through talking to him, I could tell it was almost like he didn't have I asked him specifically, bro. I was like, yo, dude, he had no regrets about it. But what he did address is the fact that the romantic, I was like, why'd you even get married? He was like, well, I was in love with her. We romanticize the concept of marriage, and the screwed up part about that is a contradiction, because if that were the case, people will make, like, to me personally, the number one thing, like, if you have a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year marriage, to me, that's something to be like, we don't do that. It's like, we'll be like, oh, well, a woman will force your hand in terms of like marriage, but she'll be the first one to jet when things really, when it gets hard. I'm sorry, I know I said a lot to say all of that, but that's how I feel about it. It's like, I don't think it's healthy to over romanticize the institution of marriage. You don't do that. Marriage is built for structure, not for how you feel. You know what I mean? Because if you act like, I could see me if I were in an arranged marriage, and it's funny because I'm very liberal at heart, but the older I get, I'm just seeing, I'm like, I could do that, because it becomes not even about the other person. It's all about I'm serious.
And it almost sounds like that's the opposite of polygamy. I mean, obviously the opposite is monogamy.
That's why, if I'm being honest,
it's definitely a counter.
It is, and that's why I say.
Ooh.
Well, hold on. Now,
if you had to choose between arranged marriage or polygamy, which one would you go for?
Polygamy.
Polygamy. I guess it's more of a question for you, since you're like that one person kind of monogamous. And while you're thinking, I'll go ahead and say. I'll go ahead and say that. I am monogamous. Almost, I wouldn't say too much, but like when I was younger, I definitely was not very honest, and I did a lot of things I shouldn't have done. And now, like, I've just been so focused on being just a monogamous person. I couldn't imagine, like I said, with my last relationship, I couldn't imagine, cheating or even entertaining the idea of being with anyone else. But it's weird because in that relationship, that's how I felt. But then there's also a side of me that's also like, if this turned into a polygamous relationship, I'd be down. Like I can kind of just roll with it.
Yeah.
To me, but it's the question of, should you have to? And I think that I've adjusted, but it's almost like
You should never have to. Any relationship, whether it be no relationship at all, strictly sexual, to being married, married with either one or multiple, it should all be consensual. You should never be forced.
I want to agree with that so bad.
No, but even in Islamic religion, polygamy is not required, and it's only accepted if all parties are consenting to
that. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But there are other nations that have had, like, arranged marriages are actually real too. I'm not saying that they're as prominent, but I understand the wisdom behind them, because some people there's a such thing as too many options. And especially take no offense, sweetie, I think there's a certain wisdom and understanding. Like, we all address the difference between being a man and woman. I think that's eternal, man. I really do. Like, not in a sense of like every person. It's not absolute, but generally men and women are different, have been. Like, that's something that has to be addressed, man. If you asked me that earlier, arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Because the pressure that comes with a woman, and like there's a sense of honor that a woman, and this is gonna sound a little messed up, but it's the truth. Oh, like being there, servitude for your husband, like help me. I believe in that concept. I really do, because as a strong man, if I love you, my obligation is to actually respect you and do what it takes to, like, appreciate you. It's like, that's important, but you have to respect the fact that I'm head of this, and if there's contention in that. And I see that's literally what's happening to this society. They're putting men and women together. So, I'm actually pro men and women, if anything, man, to be honest. I'm sorry.
I don't think we argued that. But before we move on, we haven't tried each other's wine yet. So let's take a break. Let's do that.
Okay.
And then after that, let's get back to it. Yeah. Wait, what was yours again? Yours was a
rosé. I think you might.
Oh, it's by Whispering Angel.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I've had Whispering Angel before.
Yeah, I don't think that you'll hate it.
I love the smell.
That is a great wine. Screech, Stephanie, thank you so much for gifting us this wine. That's a very solid wine. It's probably one of my favorites, right? Right? Like, you gotta look at it like, this shit right here.
This smells like Miami. And I don't know if that's just on my mind because I'm thinking of women now, but
Yeah, I was saying, I don't
You're
know.
right.
Is that a?
I don't hate this.
yeah, I didn't think you'd hate it.
Yeah, wow. It's sweet, but not like sugary sweet.
That's slightly
Yeah,
here, my
it's
friend.
very. This isn't that bad.
Mm.
This is better than most of the wines you've had on the show.
You really? You really
Yeah,
think
because it's light. It's not too sweet.
I could actually drink this whole bottle of your wine.
It's nice to hear you finally say that.
This one, oh, this is the
Oh,
dark
this
horse?
smells like food.
Mm.
Just the smell makes me think of like a Cajun pasta or like something spicy, like a New Orleans, a classy New Orleans cotillion type thing.
Yeah, bro. You have to come off a little of that witching hour, man. It's
I-
on point.
I like all of our wines.
Actually,
Yours are the least, but I mean, it's still good. Like, that says a lot for, a white.
Actually, you know what this reminds me of? I go to a restaurant in Atlanta where they serve oysters with this vinegar, like a raspberry vinegar with onions in it. This is what this reminds me of.
Mm.
Like it smells like the vinegar.
What kind is this? That's a Pinot
That's
Grigio?
nice.
What?
Yeah.
That's like, I definitely would not see myself drinking a Pinot Grigio, but I mean, like, I like both of these. These are really good.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Yours is better than what you rated it.
Yeah.
Hi.
I think what that is, because I actually discovered my favorite white. It is a Pinot Grigio. My standard is just like crazy stupid. I think like my favorite from here on out is Pinot Grigio, man. I still love Cab, and Moscato, but
I
Pinot
think-
Grigio is on point.
Any white wine is better than Riesling. Riesling is awful.
Not a fan of
Oh,
Riesling.
yeah. That is way too
It's
sweet.
just too sweet.
Listen to her purr. Okay. We gotta talk.
So you were talking about women. You were talking about being. You wouldn't necessarily want to, but you could. And you were talking about arranged marriages where you thought that you could see where it made sense.
I
Here's
see
my
utility in them, I do.
opposing view to that. Arranged marriages, I kind of see what you mean, and I understand where people. Back in the day, it was a money thing, so monetary, also a status thing when you placed your daughter with a certain male to be married to, because you wanted relation with that family. Love, marrying for love, like we've mentioned recently, is
It's a newer concept.
newer concept. But I think that marrying for love is something that we can ensure that trust factor with. Whereas marrying for money, it's like, okay, well, she has to be here. We have to work together. Do I know that she's doing what she's supposed to? Or am I on the fence about it? And I know that even nowadays, people who are insecure in relationships have that same thought process where it's like, okay, can I trust that they're actually going with their friends, or do I need to track them on the iPhone? But I think that when you're in love with someone, I mean, I've been in love. I don't know if you guys have been in love before, but I know that when you're in love, I mean, you absolutely only want that one person. And I still am in love. I know I am.
Aww.
And I can tell you, I mean, we were talking about, Jerry Joseph mentioned the other day to me, he was like, I've actually never heard you talk about like anyone that you've been like hanging out with. And it's true, because I have no desire to. I'm not like, oh, I'm single, I can do whatever I want. Let me see like what I can. It's never that. It's always me doing my own thing. And my own thing isn't with other people. It's like literally my own thing. Until I can have that same feeling with someone or two people or multiple people, because I'm open. But until I get that feeling again, I'm not gonna just be out doing.
Wait, could you be, if he came back and he was like, hey, I want to be with you and a few others?
Okay, so not a few others. It could be with one girl, but that girl, I thought about this. Because I've thought about it with him specifically.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
So-
continue.
God.
Continue, yeah.
So because I know that like he's not religious either. He's very open. But you know, if it was me and him and one other girl, it would be a group thing where the group was the primary relationship.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it would be very equal amongst, so like me and him, and then her
You
and
would choose
him,
that over
and
the
then me and
primary
her.
partner? You would choose that, the group
Yeah,
dynamic over
because
the-
I wouldn't have him and I as the primary and then her as our secondary. Because I would feel the same towards her that I feel towards him. Hopefully, I think that
Okay.
would be the most genuine way to do it, and she would be mine as well. You know, it would be him and I, her and him, her and me, and then us together.
Yeah.
So I think the group would be the primary. But that's how I imagine polygamous relationships to go.
Most
but I
people
know
think of that.
Yeah,
Think of
most
that.
people. I think that's the most
I think it's
common.
very naive, man. I think it's very naive. I hear what you're saying, but I don't even. You were like she would be mine as well as him. Mine doesn't even. You can't integrate mine into any official like committed relationship with more. You can't.
I'm
That
yours,
doesn't make sense.
And I'm not yours. You remember
Huh?
that?
Who's
Sam?
that?
Sam from
Oh yeah,
Her?
yeah. That's the point, and it broke his heart. But I actually understood where Theodore was coming from. It's like he never stood a chance.
Is that from an anime?
That's from my second favorite movie of all time. It's called Her. Has
Spike Jones, my guy.
yeah, it's one of the, in my opinion, the greatest love story ever told. Have you not seen it?
I don't think so.
Oh, we should
To all the
watch it.
viewers, go out and watch Her.
Yeah.
Second you get.
I
It'd
think you guys. I've heard you guys talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as she was saying in the film, is like she's like, I'm yours, but I'm not yours. You know, and I think that maybe in a relationship that has that group dynamic, that makes sense. Theodore was kind of blindsided; he did not see that shit coming. But had he, you know, had he been prepared and it was agreed upon, that was the
Spoiler.
relationship. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that. But I get where she was coming from, and people in that scenario, people that practice polygamy. I get the idea of it because like I can meet someone and be like, you're a cool person, maybe we might vibe well, and I mean, first of all, I definitely look at relationships differently than most people. The way that I think that the dating scene should go or how dating should be done, relationships, it's different. So I can understand a little bit more with the polygamous people.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I think that I think it's a great idea, and I think that's something that we should do. I think it's the next step. We should continue, to at least explore or poke around with it. At first, you got married for political reasons. You have a castle and you're ruling over this land, and then you get married because they live in a castle and they're ruling over their land. It was for power. And then it got to the point where you married your daughter off to someone because he has 6 sheep, 2 cows, and a fishing net.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then we got the arranged marriages, and then now it's like you marry because you love someone, and then you can get married because they're regardless of different races. And now we're at the point now where you can get married if you're the same sex. It's an evolution of the relationship, and I think that polygamy is the next step.
I think so too. And I think that we will have to get to a point to where not only does our culture accept it, so it'll be, and by culture I mean like American culture, politically and like not so much religiously because we don't claim one religion, but we will have to get to a point to where we all recognize it and we make laws for it to where it's fair for all members of the relationship. Same way that people have fought for gay marriage and...
You don't need laws for it. I mean, there are people that were in lifelong committed relationships, gay relationships, before gay marriage was...
Exactly,
So
but I'm
laws.
saying when like so let's just say that we do have polygamous marriage that is
Oh,
legal, and then we have polygamous marriages that want to
more
divorce.
mainstream.
Yeah.
The Mormons and stuff, they can get married. They can have multiple wives and stuff like that, and it's legally, acceptable. But you mean like for the everyday man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. everyday man and woman.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Like us.
Yeah. I don't know. I could do it. I did have this one girl ask me to be in a polygamous relationship once, but she had a cocaine problem. She had a real serious cocaine problem, and I thought a monogamous relationship with you would be a bad idea. Just the two of us alone. I can't imagine adding a third. You know? But I think that's the only time I've actually been approached about being in a polygamous relationship.
Wow.
Have you guys? Has anyone ever approached you?
I've never been asked to be. I have been not in like committed relationships where we're like, okay, we're boyfriend, girlfriend, but I've been with guys where like we have a strong attraction and it's physical, and they're like, I'm physical with another person and you're gonna have to get over it. That's happened to me.
Hey, take a back seat.
Yep.
What about you, KG?
No, but I am. Lately I've been entertaining a lot the concept of a harem. I actually want that, man. Like,
wait, so you want multiple women?
I think every guy does.
Well,
I do.
but he's
Hold on,
preaching
no. I don't
monogamy.
need that. Actually, I know what I am intrinsically, but I want it now because I'll be honest, man. Women nowadays ain't shit. I need checks and balances. So it's almost like I still want companionship, but I don't want to put my faith into like a lot of women nowadays. Listen, once again, I don't. Hell yeah, yes. Tell me.
I was gonna say men aren't shit, and that's why I only want one. I could never have more
I think
than
the men and
one.
women y'all fuck with ain't shit.
Hold on. Men weren't shit for so long, and that's how things have gotten to this point. To be quite honest, man. And so I
cannot argue with that. I can't argue.
I'm being honest, dude.
Argue, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm actually, my heart is really big, and I'm not perfect. I made a lot of mistakes, and I've been weak in a lot of areas. But I know my potential, what I'm willing to give in a relationship, it doesn't match the everyday women that I encounter. It's like even the ones that actually get to know me, because there's this backing behind them that's like the liberal movements, man, feminism, all that stuff, man.
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
gay
so it's almost like
subculture.
you know how many times actually I played a lot around with this before we even had the show. I was like, I was gonna do this. I was like, I asked a lot of girls like, could you be in a polygamous relationship? Nah, I'm too selfish, I'm jealous and all that. And it's like, and I thought about it, I was like, they really mean that. They like, I'm
they
probably mean it more than me, but like it's like they mean that shit. They don't believe that they need men anymore. I don't need a woman that doesn't feel as though a man isn't integral to her existence. I don't need that. You know what I mean?
I can see that. Also, with the jealousy aspect, I'm glad you brought that up.
So you want to, man.
Because
You don't even need relationships, man. This dude want to be a robot, bro. Robots don't need anything, man.
he basically is. He's no emotion.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, what the, man.
I
have biological needs. I shall assess the, like, come on, dude.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's do some final thoughts about the whole this polygamy in general. Where do we stand? How do you feel about it? Let's start off. So, what's that?
What's your final thought?
Yeah, let's do final thoughts.
I'm naturally a monogamous. What? Damn, help me out, y'all.
He's
monogamous,
monogamous, but he is probably gonna be in a polygamous relationship because women ain't shit.
There you go. There's no one where I'll give my heart and soul to a woman that doesn't have the ability to take it in and I'm not above monogamy at all. I just like simply I know what it takes. And unfortunately a lot of men are kind of like me, but we're in a certain time. That's
I feel
the
like
truth
you
of the matter.
changed your mind throughout the podcast.
I think he does that a lot. Just throughout life.
I hate y'all, dude.
All right, for me, I'm open to it, but only with a certain man. I'm just not out here like looking for relationships. I do feel strongly for one person, and if him and I both decide that we want to feel strongly for another woman, we'll let her in. And I can only see myself being in a triad, whatever. But I don't think that anything more than that would be okay with me. So.
Damn, Jen loves hard. You love hard. I want to say something. Can I interject real quick?
Rock and roll.
If I heard that from a girl that like I would. To me, that's a failure on his part because you would give him the world.
I would take a bullet for him. He has no idea.
I'm telling you, man.
He has no idea.
I like you, Jen.
You want someone like you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
man.
have expressed that to him. But you know what? Go ahead. What's your final
Kid,
thought?
you need someone to be like, I will die for you, master. Your dick if I have come to suck it. All right, so for me, I think polygamy is another viable option in the world of dating, marriage, and just relationships in general. They're not for everyone, and they don't have to be. I think that we should be more open with it. I think we should be more creative with the ways that we date. We're saying, monogamous relationship, you date and you get into a relationship, you follow these steps and rules, and it's been the same way for years and years and years. Generations have followed the same formula. But I feel like that we're at a point now where we should be more open and more creative with the ways that we are dating, having relationships, to see like what can we actually get out of this. There's a lot that we can learn from a polygamous relationship that we can't learn from a monogamous one, and vice versa. We have a lot of research in monogamous relationships. I think it's time that we should be a little more open, with polygamous relationships and see what we can learn and where we can go from there. So
Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
good.
that concludes today's episode. All right, let's cheers to
Cheers.
that.
Was that cheers again too?
Good. To being different, because that truly is what makes the world go round.
It is.
As we can
We're all
attest.
different.
That sounds like some shit you would say.
I appreciate it, man. Y'all like and subscribe. We appreciate you. Wine and Nine, we're out.
Yep.